Okay, so apparently there was some form of production issues on Crunchyroll's side, because when I got up this morning to watch, Drifters at the normal time, it wasn't there. And I checked Crunchyroll, and I'm like, okay, so why is it not on Crunchyroll? It said, production issues. And I'm like, okay, and it says, it'll be out in a few hours. Okay, so a few hours, probably around the time JoJo comes out. JoJo comes out, Drifter episode's still not out. I'm like, okay, I'll wait till Haikyuu's out. Wait till Haikyuu comes out, watch Haikyuu. Still not. I'm like, what's going on? Like, what's going on? So, the delay of Drifters kind of sucks. I gotta admit, the delay of the episode today really sucks. But, I mean, as always, it's better late than never. I mean, at the very least, Crunchyroll picked up. Because, I mean, there's a lot of anime that, come out from seasons that don't ever get picked up by a company like Crunchyroll or Funimation. And we never get to see a traditional or official English translation. I mean, look at Dragon Ball Super. I mean, that didn't get an official translation, like English subtitles and stuff, till very recently, like this past month and a half. So when you really think about it, I mean, I'm just happy that Drifters came out late than never. So, I mean, it kind of sucks, but I mean, I guess the wait was worth it, because it was a very strong and epic episode of Drifters. All that set up throughout this episode for the events to come. So, as I said, Nobunaga is my favorite character of Drifters. I think I've made this very clear to all of you anime-onlys and manga readers of Drifters. I love Nobunaga. And this episode is a perfect showcase to why I love his character. I mean, we get to see how this man has developed after what has happened in his previous life, but also what he plans to do and accomplish. That is what I like about his character, because here's the thing. You can write a type of series like Drifters. You can throw in a bunch of historical characters throughout history and try to write a series. That doesn't mean it's going to be a good series. Just because you throw in someone like, Nobunaga, throw in someone like, other countless, iconic characters throughout history, like people, I mean, you just can't. Like, that doesn't always work. You just can't throw in these historical people and think it's automatically going to make a good series. It doesn't work like that. It comes down to the writer and how the writer actually handles these historical characters and what direction their characters take. And, see, since this is a story that is actually set after the death of certain individual characters. Like, for instance, let's take Nobunaga, for instance, okay? Nobunaga, he is someone that was betrayed, and he died, okay? He died in the burning of his castle. He died, and he was betrayed. And the thing is that this man, he was at the end of his life. In terms of historical records of what we know, he is at the end of his life. And all the characters that have been brought into this series, they all were at the point to where they supposedly died in history. And so this allows the writer of this series to write these characters in any way he wants. He could keep to their traditional backgrounds, for instance, their background stories, to some of the details about them, maybe some myths or legends, but the writer can do anything he wants after that. For instance, Nobunaga, he was someone that was literally the Demon King. He was someone that everybody feared. He was someone that always constantly got betrayed by people because, just that's what type of person he was and how everybody reacted around him. He couldn't move people's hearts. He just, made them scared of him. He put fear amongst the people. And after Nobunaga's death, and after finding out what happened to his son, but also seeing how, Toyohisa's, acted around him, and how he knows about what happens after he died, he realizes his methods and what he tried to do throughout his entire life was wrong. It wasn't the right way to go. And this is what makes Drifters such a good series. Not just for Nobunaga as a character, but the writer is able to write these characters in different ways that you would never expect. For instance, they can understand their flaws, what caused them to die in the first place. And that's kind of what's going on here. Nobunaga has finally realized why he died and how despicable of a person he kind of was, and that is why he's given leadership over Toyohisa, why he's sitting in the background and being an advisor. He knows that he can't be a proper leader amongst people. He's not someone that can really make your heart move. He's only someone that can drive fear into you or do other sneaky things behind the scenes that are very dark. And so Nobunaga in this episode displays that he has matured past the point of what his actual historical counterpart is. And this, in a way, is what you can say is a new person. This is a new character. This no longer is the Nobunaga that we know in history. This is no longer the person we know with all these historical records on that's a legend. This is a new person. This is someone that has matured. Someone has learned from his previous mistakes and has tried to better himself in any way possible. And that is what we got here. And so this episode is a perfect example of what we could possibly expect from many other characters throughout the series. For instance, like Toyohisa or, Joan of the Arc and other characters. This is a perfect episode to display that these other characters characters that made vital flaws throughout their life before they died, they have a chance to correct their flaws. They have a chance to better themselves, become better people, and that's what's going on here. Nobunaga is becoming a better person. So when you see this man throughout the episode, he's displaying himself. He's like, you know what's funny? When I was supposed to die, when my castle was being sieged and all that, everything was on fire, you know who the first person I suspected to be the person that betrayed me? My son. And when you really think about it like that, you realize that is very tragic and sad, when you have to think your own son was the one to betray you and try to kill you. It's fucked up when you really process that in your mind. But then on top of that, Nobunaga realizes he did think that. He can't take that back. And after hearing from Toyohisa that his son died in battle to lead his name, he died for his father's honor, Nobunaga feels like an asshole. He feels like someone that truly wasn't someone that could trust anyone. He couldn't trust people. He was someone that would suspect his own son for trying to betray him, and it just showed what type of life he lived. And when he realized that his son, just exceeded past all of his expectations and went to the grave to fight for his father's honor, you just see how that really affected him, and why now he feels like he shouldn't be the one to lead. And that is why he has changed so much, and he's not acting like his historical counterpart that we know him of. So this, very good stuff, very good direction Nobunaga's character takes, but also this allows us to see that other characters can get this exact same development. Other characters can realize what they did in their past, they're trying to correct it. So yeah, I mean, how did everybody feel about that? How did you all feel about Nobunaga in that development he got throughout this episode? I mean, how do you feel about seeing him just saying like, hey, it's better if, we rule like everybody rules under Toyohisa and me than, how the original empire was and also the ends. I mean, it's a much better conclusion, don't you think? It can't be as bad as them trying to rule everybody and kill off all humanity. So when you think about it like that, what Nobunaga is suggesting, he's actually doing something that is for the greater good. He is someone that is evil, but he's not someone that's entirely evil. And he's like, you need to realize, yes, I may be an evil bitch, but at the same time, you gotta realize the other people that are gonna be taking over the empire, but also the ends and stuff, those are a whole lot worse than what I could possibly be. So my option's obviously better, ain't it? Isn't it? And with that, we now know what Nobunaga is trying to accomplish. And then another piece of setup was the gun situation. We know Nobunaga, he's been fascinated with guns. That's the type of person he was in the past, and that trait is carried over with his character. And with, future technology being introduced into the series, because, drifters and stuff, you have Gatling guns, and you have revolvers and stuff being introduced, and obviously someone that's like Nobunaga that has so much interest in these type of guns, that's gonna fascinate him. He's gonna be like, holy crap, I want this, I want to make this, I want the dwarves to be able to make these type of guns. And he realized how bullets are made, he realized how ineffective cavalry is now, how ineffective formations are. He realized how much warfare has changed just with these type of guns. Just with a Gatling gun, he realized how much warfare is changed in the future. It's no longer standing in a line side by side, shoulder to shoulder, using spears, swords, cavalry. It's no longer like that. He has realized that warfare was officially changed way off in the future, and it's never going back to what it was. And he's like, holy shit, if I can get a hold of these guns, I could change the very fundamentals of how war is done in this world. So Nobunaga shows that he's very intelligent. He's someone that is not dumb. I mean, he even learned different languages. I mean, he learned the Elven language in this episode. He actually started talking about it, and you also saw the indication that he's already learned the Elven language. So he's a quick thinker. He's someone that also learns rather quickly, and he also is able to understand the fundamentals of warfare. So this man is incredibly powerful, and he's someone to be feared. I mean, even if he has learned, even though he knows what he's done in the past was very crusty, and he's trying to better himself, he is someone you shouldn't underestimate. He's someone that could be very dangerous because of how smart he is. So that's about it when it comes to this episode. I mean, there's other little setups throughout the episode with the other drifters and stuff. I mean, you have it to where, the person from Rome, there's a little bit of comedy there. Italy, oh my god. That shit was great. The Axis power stuff, that shit made me laugh. That was a pretty humorous comedy. I gotta admit, that was good comedy coming from drifters. Just seeing the Axis powers and stuff in Rome, Italy, and all that. Just had a good laugh. But then on top of that, the other little scenes. I mean, getting to see the person that has dementia, how he's overcoming it, but also he may be crazy, but he's someone that's still able to fight. I mean, you just see these little setups throughout this episode that's, gearing up for the finale of Season 1 of Drifters. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.